In this video, we're going to create another form where we're going to be learning some other types of inputs. So far, we have covered the text inputs, the password input, and also the submit inputs. So now we're going to create another form where we're going to be exploring some other types of inputs. So this form is going to be a checkout form. So we're going to create a form where the user is going to be required to input their address, for example, postcode, city. Also, they will choose a shipping method and a payments method for the checkout. So we're going to start our form from scratch, okay, so that we can practice the syntax. And we're going to go ahead now and start our form. So the tag again for form is form, okay, and inside the tags we're going to have our different inputs. So first of all, we're going to need the user to input their address. So for that, we're going to have an input, okay, of type text, right? So we're going to give it a name, address, and also an ID to link it to the label of address. We can have a placeholder, okay, and let's have address there with capital A. All right, and also we're going to add a size to the box of 30 pixels, and also we can limit the maximum number of characters that the user is allowed to put there to 100, for example. So here is our address input. So now we're going to add a label to it, okay, exactly the same way you have done before. So we just need a label before the inputs, okay, using the label tags. Let's write some text inside the label tags. We're going to write address, and to link it to our input, we're going to use the for attributes, and we're going to use the ID we have used for address, which is this one. Okay, now we're going to add another input. It's going to be the postcode. So the syntax is going to be the same. We're going to have a label and an input. So I'm just going to copy paste what we have done so far for the address, and I'm just going to change everything to postcode. A placeholder with capital P though. Okay. So you would have noticed before that the inputs, they are inline elements. Okay, so we don't have a line break at the beginning of the inputs. So to add a line break, we can just use the br tag. Okay, and now you can see we've got a line break in there. And let me just change this to postcode. Okay, so now we've got the address and we've got the postcode. Now we're going to add another one. So let's have a line break first, and let's add the city. Okay, so it's going to be also a text input, and we're going to change everything to city. Capital C for the label, and name is city, ID is city, placeholder is city with capital C, and that's it. Okay, so we've got the address, postcode, and city. Okay, now we want the user to be able to choose their shipping method. Okay, we're going to have 3 shipping methods, very similar to the Amazon checkout options. So we're going to have the free super saver shipping, the 2-day shipping, and the 1-day shipping. So to do that, we're going to create a drop-down menu for this. So first of all, let's have a line break. Okay. And now the drop-down menu has got a special syntax. We're going to use the select tag. Okay, so to create drop-down menus, we use the select tag. So inside the select tags, we're going to have what we call options. All right. So first, let's give our select a name. Let's call it shipping. Okay, and also let's give it an ID, shipping. All right. So the options, we're going to create them using the option tag. Pretty straightforward. Okay. So you're going to have 3 options, and each option is going to have a value. Okay. So first of all, we're going to write some text inside the option tags. So the first option is going to be free Super Saver shipping. Okay. So the text between the option tags is what the user can see. Okay. But we need to give our option a value attribute, which is going to be passed on to the PHP code. Okay. We're going to cover this later on in the PHP chapter. So, and this value, the user can't see. So that's how you refer to this option inside our code, and you can name it anything you want. Okay. I'm just going to name it free, the same thing. So it's free Super Saver shipping. Okay. So when you submit the form, if you select this option, for example, okay, the select input is going to be passed on to the PHP code with a value of free Super Saver shipping, which corresponds to this one. Okay. So we're going to have another couple of options. I'm just going to copy paste this. So the second one is going to be 2-day shipping. I'm just going to change the value to that. 2-day shipping. Okay. And let's change the text as well. And the last one is going to be 1-day shipping. Okay. There we go. So now you can see that we've got our drop down menu. Okay. And let's just refresh the page so that we can see it. Okay. So you can see that we've got 3 options there, and you can select any of them. Okay. Using the menu. All right, so that's how the select element works, or the drop down menu works. Okay, now we're gonna add another input. So this time we want the user to choose their payment method. Okay, but before we do that, I'm just gonna add a paragraph before the drop down menu. Okay. So we don't need a line break now for this, because we're going to have a paragraph. And inside our paragraph, we can write, choose your shipping method. Okay. All right. Now let's add another paragraph. Okay. And this time it's going to be, choose your payment method. Okay. All right. Okay, so this time we are going to create inputs using radio buttons. I'm going to explain later why we call this kind of input, or this type of input, a radio. Okay, but for now, let's create our different options. So the syntax is still input. Okay. And this time the type is radio. Okay. So we're going to give it a name, payments, for example. Okay. And each radio button is going to have a value. Oh, so again, this value is going to be what is passed on to the PHP code.